Hello everyone, welcome back to another FSD supervised video. A big update right now. So we finally have end-to-end highway. So if you folks don't know about this or not following up with the FSD revisions and the versions coming up, right now Tesla has a big full self-driving version 12 stack that is end-to-end for city driving. But the highway stack, that last piece of the puzzle was still stuck on version 11 for not the end-to-end neural network setup. So it was very manual, a lot of triggers for it to operate, and it's not very, it doesn't have a mind for its own and all that stuff. So right now, I'm not too sure why it's saying there's no live data, but I think it will. Oh, it's telling me to pay attention to the road. Okay, so we are going to test this on the highway right now, and there's a little bit of updates here on the settings for the autopilot or the full self-driving. So we've got the full self-driving profiles have been changed. We've got chill standard, which are similar to the naming scheme before, but now we have hurry, which is different than the assertive or whatever it was called. So there you guys have it. The maximum off-speed offset. So now it tells us that we can set the maximum off-speed offset that we want, but the full self-driving neural nets will not really dictate the speed based on that. It's going to drive as it wants, as like having a mind for its own, but it won't exceed that maximum threshold. So that's the main difference. There's a lot of talk about it being not perfect so far, but we'll see how it goes. Right now we're recording and we're coming up to the highway. I've got it on standard here for the profile. If you folks like my video, please don't forget to support me by liking my videos and by subscribing to my channel. It helps me a lot. Increasing my viewership will help bring my videos out and let people see it and be more seen on YouTube, so that the algorithm can help me. If you are from the area, from Calgary, please don't forget to support me by hitting like and subscribing to my channel. So right now, right off the get-go, we're doing 60 and we're driving 61. It's a little bit on the slower side, but it's manageable for this kind of interior roads. I know that within the release notes, it says that the end-to-end or the speed management, the new one, kind of kicks off when you're above 80 kilometers per hour if you are from Canada, or 50 miles per hour if you're from the United States. So those are the differences right now with version 12.5. Let me get this right. 12.5.6.3. That's the one. So the introduction of the speeds for city streets and the changes in the hurry and standard and chill, that's a new offset that has been put into this minor version update. So with the .2 release, they didn't actually have that. And yeah, right off the go, you can see that it's actually managing a little bit better with the overtaking and such. It's just a set of two or three different intersections where we're going to be hitting these traffic lights, and then we'll be good to go. So I hope you folks like this video. And yeah, once we get to the highway, I am going to be changing between standard. Oh, here we go. We can see the profile now shows up on the top left of the screen over here. As you can see, I'm not paying attention a lot to the road. I'm just looking at the screen, looking at the differences, what we have new. It's interesting because the speed of this road is 80 kilometers per hour. We're getting the profile changes as well. So yeah, the other thing also that was updated just recently with the .2 actually released, but and also 12.5.4.2, which I think is the version that is also for hardware 3 as well, is that they are the rendering on the screen is also very smooth. So we've got 60 frames per second. Originally we had 60 frames per second on the screen, but there was a lot of rendering issues, so it wasn't really showing up much. So I'm going to put my sunglasses on right now. Active monitoring works with sunglasses on, so it shouldn't be an issue. I'll speed you up through this red light over here. Interesting, right off when we went off from that intersection, it's telling me that FSD is degraded. I think we have an overcast sky today with some clouds. It's not really something intense, so not too sure why that message came up. That's another thing I think that they're looking at fixing in the next few updates, and especially with version 13 coming on along the side over here, along the road. Originally, version 13 was promised at the beginning of October. Was it October or end of October? But it didn't really come out. I think they're saying it's out in limited testing right now with employees. So we'll see about that. So what I'm going to do right now is I think I'm going to remain on standard here. We are supposed to stay on this lane over here because this lane will take you to the highway exit. So it's doing the right thing, navigation planner wise speaking. So yeah, I'll speed you guys up over here through this traffic light. Okay, so we are entering a construction zone over at this ramp over here. Normally the previous version did not detect the speed limit over here and did not slow down. I don't really anticipate it to still be able to pick up that speed limit. Let's see over here, coming up to a 60. Yeah, it does detect it, but it does not slow down. So let me go back to, yeah, it's not going to go back to change its profile because it's not really. I'm going to just brake over here and disengage because this is a little bit too fast for a construction zone. Yeah, so because it's 60. So because it's 60 kilometers per hour, it doesn't really detect it doesn't have the changeability of the FSD profile anymore because it's only available at 80 plus kilometers per hour. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and engage over here. Now that it's detecting we are going to 100 kilometer per hour speed zone, that's the highway, it's going to be different. So let's see over here. The first thing it has to do is change lanes, and it's doing that right off the get-go. Happy with that. And now we're hitting another 80 kilometer per hour construction zone here. So I'm happy to be driving at standard again. And yeah, the other thing over here in this highway is that it comes to a point where there's a bridge coming up over here that it does act a little bit weird because there's a merge coming in from a off ramp or an on ramp, and that's where it kind of goes away from this third lane, and that's really how it should be. Because you want to make sure that cars will be able to merge, but the maneuver that it does it does it at very close to the end of the merge or the lane ending, let's say, so which is a very dangerous situation. So hopefully it does not need to do that. So we are now off the construction zone and we are driving 100 and we are on standard and it's doing 102 and it's picking the third lane over here. I'm gonna go ahead and let it do this for a while and see if we hit traffic, what is it going to do. Normally with the previous FSD versions, it used to just change lanes all the way to the first lane and then just stay there and camp there, which is not brilliant, to be honest. So this is a situation here, I think, where we're going over the bridge and this lane will be coming to an end. I'm just going to let it drive by itself and see at what point it's going to be changing lanes. So this is where our lane is going to be ending, and it doesn't really have the foresight to see that. So yeah, and it's passing over this car and it's changing lanes and it's cutting it off. So not a very good start right now, to be honest. And then now it wants to change lanes again. Let's see if it does that. Speeds up and goes for it. Okay, we're still on standard and it's doing 110. I wonder how we can find out what's our maximum. So I think if you scroll your, oh, that's the volume. If you scroll this, yeah, there we go. So our max is 140 over here. I will bump this down because there's nobody that does 140 kilometers per hour on this highway, to be honest. Probably 125 is my max comfortable driving scenario here or behavior on this highway, and that's really if I need that 125. It's really amazing to me that how we didn't, NHTSA really forces Tesla to do stuff like a complete stop on a stop sign and all that stuff, but when it comes to a highway and speed limits, it's very flexible in this kind of. Well, it's either they're very flexible or they've got, I think there's an open investigation. Not too sure if it's around that or not. If you guys know this, please let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious to understand what is their motive, like to go after a few things and skip stuff like that. So right now I'm not very comfortable here to be on the first lane, so I am going to switch it to chill mode. So as you can see on the screen, it's a chill. And at this moment, I wanted to be able to find a gap on my second lane over here and signal and go off to the right. That's what I really wanted to do. Let's see if it does it over here at this gap, for example. And I was really hoping for it to change lanes over here. Yeah, not gonna happen. And we are hitting an 80 kilometer speed zone over here because of the construction. Okay. I don't know if it's because on our first lane over here we have traffic already in front of us, so it's kind of predicting that it can still drive at the fastest speed possible on the first lane, for example. But being on chill mode means that I need to go step back and go to the middle lane or the third lane at least. Mind you, I didn't read that 80 kilometer speed zone, so we are traveling faster than that. It is changing right now to 100, but these construction zones on this highway is kind of putting off every driver over here, so it's kind of like ridiculous how many times that there's a slowdown and so on. There's a big gap on our right now, so it should really go to our right, and that's not happening. So that's very unfortunate. That's very, very unfortunate, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a little bit better about not camping on the left-hand side. Obviously, we need to go through a lot more testing, and maybe I'll try a different highway and see how it does. But yeah, this is what we have right now. This is what it's doing right now, and this is what we can go with right now. I am going to add another destination here just to head back. Unfortunately, I have limited time in testing today, so we'll just set it to go FSD home. So right now we're around 3 kilometers from our exit, and we should be making our way to the right-hand side. And with all the traffic in front of us, I really thought that FSD would be a little bit more prompt to do maneuvers like that, changing lanes and making sure it's going on its on the correct exit. There we go. So we're getting the signal. We're at 2.2 kilometers per hour. That's around maybe a mile and a half, I think. And now it should be signaling to go right again. I have to say though, the way it's changing lanes is a little bit better than the previous version. There was a lot of lane dancing and slow lane changes, behaviors in the previous highway stack, and this is getting better in the new one. Right now it has to find a gap. It's signaling, but it's going ahead, and there's a lot of traffic on our lane over here. Not too sure what the plan is. Let's see if it's gonna squeeze in between these two cars. Yeah, and it's getting a little bit too close into the car in front of us, to be honest. So, and it's doing its second lane change over here. And there we go. Now we're all set up to exit from here, which is the correct place to be at. Oh, now I think I screwed it up. I'm just going to get it to exit from here, and then it's gonna route properly, and then I'll let it go all the way back. So I think it wanted to do this over here. Let's see if this works. Yeah. Oops. There we go. So we're gonna do this U-turn on top of the bridge, and we'll be heading back. And let's see on the other side of the road if it does any better. So I'll put it back on. Actually, you can't really switch the profiles when it's when you're not on the highway above the threshold, which is the 80 kilometers per hour. So once we're back on the highway, I'll bump it up to 80 kilometers per hour. I mean, I'll bump it up to standard, and we'll see how it does. Actually, we'll bump it up to hurry, and then we'll test out how the hurry behavior looks like, and then we'll put it back to chill and see if it changes lanes then. It's gonna have to go straight. Does that very nicely. It's kind of following our lead car over here, but we are good to go on this lane. So yeah, let me guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? How does this look like so far? Is this something that we were anticipating, and this is what we really wanted? For me personally, I think I want to avoid being on the shoulder lane the whole time. I mean, not the shoulder lane, the first lane. Because that's where you get a lot of speeders that want to go faster, and that's the overtaking lane in general. So you really don't want to be on that one. Picking out this really nicely done. Picking up this turning lane over here. Even I don't know this because I'm not used to taking this U-turn over here. So it's taking a correct lane, turning lane, so that it can exit back to the highway. So really like that maneuver, and it's probably coming for the planner over here. Okay, so we've got the green light. Oh, we got a little bit of hesitation. A little bit of a hesitation there. I think it was wondering if that traffic over there was going to come through, and we had to yield for them, or some sort of situation like that. But that was an advanced green for us, to be honest. So we should have been able to just go right away. Okay, so we've got the green light here. Another little bit of hesitation there at the intersection for the green light. Oh, wow. And that person is very aggressively yielding into our lane. So, okay, so we are at 100 here. Let me put it on hurry and see how it behaves. Okay. Changing lanes. Now, in a hurry situation, I wanted to go straight to the first lane, and it's slowly achieving that over here. Another lane change, and it's speeding up over here. One more lane change, and there it goes. It's very good at going to the first fast lane. It's and that's always the case even in the previous highway stack, but it's terrible at leaving the overtaking lane. So in this situation right now, we've got a car behind us, So what I'm going to do is, let me see how it does actually with the car behind me. So you can see the car behind me is approaching closely. You won't really see it on the screen represented properly because, yeah, and the construction zone's ending over here, so we're gonna have to go faster here. Let's see how it does. Does it pick up on the speed sign over there? Yes, it does. And now we're off to the races. And then the car behind me is still tailgating me. And right now in a hurry mode, I can still go up to, oh, it reset to 140. Let me put it back to 125. And there we go, it's boosting up. And the car behind me, we're getting a little bit distance from the car behind us, so, but they're still trying to get closer and closer. It doesn't really go to that maximum set speed, eh? It drives as if it wants to drive, and it's finding the most maximum comfortable speed to be 115 kilometers per hour on this 100 kilometer per hour highway. I guess it's acceptable, but when the car's tailgating you like this, let's see how long, and that car's gonna inch in closer and closer. That's the typical behavior of driving on this highway. Let's see what FSD is going to choose to do on a hurry profile. I think it's going to stick to this lane. So okay, let's do something. I think it's I don't think he's gonna change lanes or anything like that. So let's go back to standard. Let's see if it switches lanes here. Now the car is really tailgating me in the back. It's getting inching closer and closer. You can see it on the video feed. At this point, I would want to find my gap and change lanes here. Is it going to do it here on a standard profile? No, it's not. Let me switch it to chill, and now it changes lanes. Okay. All right, this is good. So if I want it not to camp on the overtaking lane, I should switch it back to chill. Let's wait for this next car to pass, and then I want to test this again. I'll go back to hurry. I don't think it's gonna change lanes back to that one too, because we are well over the speed limit. I mean the speed limit, I guess. Okay, now let's go back to hurry, and it changes lanes instantly. It goes back behind that car. So this is typically, I think, how I'm going to use this piece of software on the highway. Let me know in the comments below if do you think this is something that how the future is going to look like? Do we just like still have to have some manual set here? It's like, oh, I really want to overtake, I need to switch it to a hurry setting. Oh, I need to let this person behind me go ahead, so I need to go back to standard or chill. So now we're in hurry. Let me go back to standard and see if it's going to change back to the second lane here. And we've got a vehicle approaching us in the back again, but they're not very pushy like the previous one, so they're giving us enough space. No, and it doesn't. Okay, so we've got a nice big gap on our right, but it doesn't choose to change lanes here. Steers a little bit off from that rugged car. This is another situation here when we have to go straight ahead, but okay. And then standard, it's kind of choosing very close to the speed limit. Let's go back to chill here and see how it does. The other thing I want to test is if we need to overtake a few cars, how is that going to? Is it going to be able to perceive like how many cars is on our right lane and then overtake enough and go fast enough because of the vehicles behind us want to push us forward? I know it's a very tricky situation, but these are kind of like scenarios that I've seen driving on the highway with full self-driving that I've always wanted it to be unlocked. It's like I don't need to disengage and speed myself. I wanted to be able to do all that stuff by itself. So we're in chill mode. It's 80 kilometers per hour. We should be really slower than this, but you know, nobody's really technically driving in these construction zones that are set. So it's choosing a right speed for me. Now, if I want to be more on the safe side, I'll probably have to disengage and drive slower. Okay, so let me look at something here. How close are we? Yeah, we should be coming up to our exit close by. So it is taking now the third lane, now that it's empty, and it's really what we need to pick for our exit. So that's acceptable for me. So yeah, but to be honest, let me put my let me put my thoughts over here. This is okay. Like, this is drivable. Mind you, this is my first drive with this version, my first experience with the highway stack. It's really good. I like that I can just flip to chill and let it just move away from the. That was my main concern. Like, it never liked that, and that's why I like navigate on autopilot. If you came from that stack, or like before FSD, it used to be just like, I'm gonna drive straight on this lane, and I'm not gonna change lanes until you tell me. So, and that was nice. It had its nice perks, but you need that neural net, you need that fluidity so that it can deal with mixed scenarios, and then doesn't have to phantom brake because it doesn't know what it needs to do. It's fed all that data that it knows what it needs to do and all that stuff. It's got a mind of its own. I really like that it doesn't really, when I let it go in a hurry setting and there's no cars in front of me, it did kind of drive up to 115, which is acceptable for me. It didn't drive up to 140 kilometers per hour. It'll be interesting to see where these scenarios are where it needs to drive that fast, for example. And then the other interesting part is that when we're coming up to winter over here, winter season, we're going to have snow coming on the highway and stuff like that. It'll be very interesting to see how it's going to pick and choose its speed limits. Is it going to actually be like that, or is it different? Fun fact, actually, I am on winter tires right now. I just switched them out 2 days ago, and I did have to change my speed profile over here. Not speed profile, it's I think it's under service. You go to your wheel settings, it's not going to pop up for me because we're driving, and then I changed it to winter tires over there. So I'm not too sure if FSD changes its behavior when you do that, but it's also worth something testing for if I get the time to do. So we're in chill. We're at 80 kilometers per hour speed zone here. We're on an exit off ramp. Let me go ahead and say hurry here. There's a car coming up on my left lane over here. It's starting to speed up. It doesn't want it to catch up, and you can see the car over here in the visual. And now let's see if it's going to change lanes. So technically, these service roads, it thinks it's a highway? I'm not too sure. I think it still treats it as city streets, but city streets with the new speed profile. A lot of cars changing lanes here. I kind of scooched in over here. FSD slowed down a little bit. I'm still in hurry. Is it going to change lanes? Or does it see that we're driving well above the speed limit, so it's happy to continue on this? Or does it see that there are other cars in the other lanes that are driving slower, so it's predicting this is the fastest lane? Those are some interesting questions that I'm very curious to know the answers for. And I think the only way to do that is to continue testing and to continue monitoring and continue making videos about this. So I hope you folks like this video. Please do let me know if you want me to do more highway driving. I'm gonna do a different one on a different highway that's not mapped as an official highway, but it has speeds of over 100 kilometers per hour, which is the ring road around the city over here, because it's a brand new segment that's open. It's not really mapped officially as a highway. Oh, it's choosing to change lanes now. Nice. Kind of saw that car was slowing down a little bit too much for its liking. So okay, folks, please hit like and please subscribe. Please hit the notification button so that you can get notified for my next video around highway speed testing. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Hope you guys like this one, and have a nice day.